What is the craziest hazing initiation ritual into a club or organization that you've experienced first or second hand? This wasn't me, but was something my brother did. When he was in college in a fraternity, he used to make one pledge come over to his place every day to do a human alarm clock. The kid would sit next to his bed and wait until 7 AM to gently awake my brother for his class. If he smacked him on the head, that meant snooze for 5 minutes. After my brother woke up, it was then the pledge's job to go sit on the toilet bowl to get the seat warmed up for him. A guy I used to roll with had a pretty crazy novice initiation at his old club. They would blindfold the first year guys and throw them in a dark closet which was empty except for a strobe light, a fog machine, a stereo blasting let the bodies hit the floor or something similar, and a pile of Skittles. They would then scream at the new guy to sort them into piles by color and lock him in. They would come back in after 10 minutes and usually the kid would have some semblance of piles. But one time, they came back and the kid had just spread them out and was sitting there crying. They were shocked and started yelling at him again, "WTF is this? This is garbage," etc. And through his tears, the kid says, "I'm colorblind." They felt pretty bad and let him do something else. In the army, we used new guys for radar tests, so we could track them. We wrapped them head to toe in aluminum foil. We even made a foil mask. We gave them a walkie-talkie and had them run, stop, walk slowly, run some more so we could track them. Of course, there was no radar test and you can't track aluminum foil anyway, so we just had new guys in foil suits and foil masks with eye holes, running all over the base. Good, stop there. Now wave your arms and jump up and down. Calibrating, now jump higher. Good. That is comical. Good, clean fun. A rather notorious sorority at my college made new initiates call their boyfriends love interests and have phone sex with them, with everyone listening. The boyfriends would have to be told after the call was over. While this is not physically all that harmful, it ended a lot of relationships, created permanent trust issues, and is really just quite cruel in my opinion. I would immediately notice because we never have phone sex, but this crap is what gets the Greek community a bad reputation. There is some ridiculous crap at my uni that sports clubs do for initiations, or adoptions as they are now called, to get around the rules. The rugby club is banned from the SU for an initiation ritual in which they would hold freshers over the edge of the terrace bar, first floor balcony with brick underneath, by their ankles and make them whack pints. The football club can't hold adoptions in the SU. Last year there was a choice between playing soggy biscuit, downing a pint from a shoe with a live goldfish in, or shaving your head. I was surprised to see a large number of footballers still with hair the day after. I have seen videos of a rugby society throwing people off a bridge blindfolded onto suicide nets. Pretty crazy. The worst hazing ritual I've personally witnessed was a 6 feet 4 inches shirtless hulk of a man braced held down while 2 other men used a blowtorch to heat up a branding iron with the organization symbol. As soon as the branding iron was glowing red, they put a hood on the initiant's head, then pulled an identical branding iron out of a bucket of ice water and pressed it to his chest. Out of all these, this one seems to have the best fun to harm ratio. My first job was as a cashier in a small family-owned grocery store. Apparently, the stock boys had a tradition that went back years where they'd tell the new guy that one of his jobs is to shake up the Italian dressing bottles every couple hours. It makes them look better. After all, the owners were in on it, so they'd give them crap for it. Salad dressing duty. We used to do this as well in the grocery store I worked at. Had to drink a gallon of prune juice then walk 12 miles back to campus. Liquid shoots were had. Initiation into bingo club can be rough. A guy that lived in my dorm freshman year pledged a fraternity that same year, and he had 5 other guys in his pledge class. One of their tasks was to complete a 500-piece puzzle in a pitch-dark bathroom with nothing but the assistance of 2 big lighters. I had to pay $4 to be a real Redditor and access the lounge. I used to work as a rigging technician in the movie industry. All the equipment had funny names so a new guy wouldn't think twice if you asked him to go fetch something that doesn't exist. A popular one is the long wait. He'll go to the truck or store and ask whoever is there where the long wait is. If the guy is in on it, his response will be something to the effect of, "Okay, just hang on over here and I'll go fetch it for you." and then just leave him there while everyone else uses the radio to harass him to hurry up. Other popular fictional items include skyhooks, tins of elbow grease and packets of grinding sparks. I work in a restaurant. Whenever we get a new busboy, at the end of the night we tell him to make sure the pilot light is working for the ice machine. They spent 15 minutes trying to figure it out and asking managers for help. It is great. When I joined the Girl Scouts I learned they have a blood in blood out policy, and that's all I can really say. Not as crazy as the one below, but hurt a lot more. Had to play the head of the frat at table tennis. He was like a champion or something, or I was just crap. Then subsequently inevitably losing and having to run around the whole house naked, whilst being whipped with a plug. I fainted from loss of blood. Stripped naked and thrown in the trunk of a car. Driven 20 miles from campus. Once removed from trunk. Smeared with sheep blood from head to toe. A bloody hatchet superglued to hand and told to get home by midnight. I wasn't involved in this organization, but they did it the best ways I've heard. They would give you tasks, where you could do it the dumb way which was harder, or if you were clever take an easy way out. The best example I have is they separated a group of 12, 6 in a small room with a window leading outside to each, and they placed a keg in the room and said they couldn't leave until it was gone. One group attempted to drink the whole thing. The other group placed it outside the one-story building window and left the room. They greeted me as a friend. We did stuff together, went home to sleep, went there the day after, and they still greeted me as a friend. I never went back after that. Figured there must be something wrong with them, being polite and all that crap. There's a frat at my school that makes all the pledges go into the basement and get on their hands and knees. The pledges have to push a coin across the floor with their nose. Not the worst thing that goes on by far, but pretty funny. There's a sorority on campus that is on probation because they made their pledges sort sprinkles and blow up balloons. They gave them ice cream afterwards, but apparently one girl had a panic attack. I've been in and around a lot of sports stories at university, and I've seen initiations done right and wrong. A lot of the culture nowadays is about getting one up over others, so for some clubs nothing short of ridiculously overdramatic male bravado will do. The worst is no doubt the rugby teams. One university made the lads do an initiation where they had to strip completely naked and do an obstacle course. Over the course they had certain drinking challenges. It was all okay up the point where at the end the captain had organized a massive trough full of pig guts and blood. You had to bob 4 apples in it. You were finished when you got an apple. So people start bobbing and the smell is making them sick. If you completed the obstacle course last you were bobbing your head into rancid pig guts and other people's sick. Later on every new recruit got tied to an older member of the team. These people had to do everything the older member asked them. This is where it gets horrible. Some of them were asked to go and feel girls' breasts. Some were asked to drink some crazy concoction of drinks. One lad got arrested as he was asked to take a crap in front of a packed restaurant with a glass front. Pulled off the street, blindfolded, stripped down to underwear. Driven 2 hours out of the city and left handcuffed to another person. We had been left a camera, a Mets card with $20 on it and a list of tasks that had to be accomplished before we were allowed to get back to uni. Ended up composing a song and dance number, busking in this tiny coastal town until we got enough money to buy clothes from the Salvation Army. Ended up dating the guy I was cuffed to. Made for a pretty good how we met story. For my sorority, we broke into frat houses at night and stole their composites. Keep in mind, these composites were very heavy and worth thousands of dollars. We stole about 18 composites, then told the frats they had to do something nice for us to get them back. There's nothing like felony burglary charge to ruin your future. Good times. If guys broke into sororities, they would be arrested. I'm a part of the Uzma Kappa frat on my campus. It's ridiculously cheap rent and I couldn't afford to live in the city otherwise. I didn't show up to most of initiations and just agreed to pay their fees. They were desperate for membership. One of the few events I went to had the pledges walking into different rooms where they had to do different types of shots. Only every time someone said take a drink another guy would awkwardly chime in, but not if you're uncomfortable or don't want to. I've grown fond of them. We're okay. My sister pledged some sorority when she was in school, and the few things I remember from it were that she had to drink the worm from the tequila bottle, and anytime a sister shouted pig, she would have to get on the ground and sizzle like bacon. Sizzling like bacon sounds kinda fun. I got out of the car. They had me stand for a good 30 minutes waiting for someone. My group was early. Some guy arrived and told me he was a high-ranking guy. He took us to some public phones and made us call our parents telling them that everything was okay and I loved them. He took us to a room with mirrors where a black guy shaved our heads bald. Afterwards they took us to another room full of boxes and made us strip naked. They made us put all our clothing and items in the box so that it would be shipped away. They gave us matching clothing and crappy shoes. This man took us to a third room that appeared to be some type of classroom. He had us sit there and wait in silence. We were so scared we did not move for 3 hours. Not one word, not one move. It was nighttime when the rest of the new people arrived. They, I never learned their names, made the new people use the public phones and gave them the same clothing. They used us to help the new people. I was on my feet for 3 hours and the shoes were killing me. I wondered if that was so that I couldn't run away. After we were all done and in our new ceremonial clothing, we were told to drink much water and walk around a circle until we had to urinate. We were observed as we urinated into a cup for one of them to take. It was late when we finally got split into groups. Our new overlord introduced themselves and made us walk to where we thought we were going to sleep. It was far, and we were all tired. It felt like miles. On the way there we saw others who had been there for so long already. They looked happy. I was scared. We got to this old building that looked like it would fall apart at any moment. Inside we were told that we would sleep as a group in this big long room. It was hot, and I was tired. We made our beds, but before I could rest my head, we were told that this was not going to be where we were to rest. They moved us further up. I was sure they were testing us now, even though by their rules new people were not allowed to be tested until 7 days were up. The sun was rising by the time we got to our new shelter. I thought they would let us sleep. I don't know what I was thinking. We were moved again. The distance between these areas was vast. We arrived into an old school gym. We were given brown bags with sandwiches and apples and milk cartons. All day I wondered when they would let us sleep. I was so tired. They had us walk around and line up for older members to inspect us. At one point they started injecting us with things that they said would keep us healthy. At one place they had me give some of my blood to the organization. I almost fainted when the person doing it botched up the ritual. Eventually when it got dark we were taken back to the new sleeping area. And finally they let us sleep at around 9 or 10. Clocks were not allowed. I was more tired than I had ever been before. I don't know what I expected when I enlisted in the Navy. Holy crap, that sounded like the preset to a prison camp. Best one I heard of secondhand was during Heck Week at a frat, where out of the pledge class, one person had to be on duty at all times on the roof of the frat wearing a tinfoil hat, keeping a watch out for alien attack. If at any time there was no person found on the roof, or that person was asleep distracted, the entire pledge class was punished with physical activity and or drinking. Brothers would take turns trying to catch the pledges unawares by sneaking up there in various ways dressed in hilarious alien costumes. Where the frick did all the people in these responses get their pig's blood? Is that like a readily obtainable resource in certain places? What in the frick, man? Nothing too crazy when I joined my fraternity, mostly just cleaning the house, driving drunk active members around. The only real hazing we ever had was Big Brother night. This was the night where we were essentially inducted into becoming pledges. It was more funny than anything. They dressed us up in trash bags and some basement, did case races and Tour de Franzia until we all puked, then did some ritual stuff. We marched quarter decks in the freezing cold a few times. Oh, bows and toes, those were always fun. Push-up position with elbows on bottle caps. Once again it was never really malicious, just more funny than anything. Some friends and other fraternites had the stereotypical paddling and all that weird nonsense. Doctor, you seem fine to me. Me, okay, I guess I'm healthy then. Doctor, no, you have 2 months left to live, but dang look at that butt. Hashtag feature me. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.